reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network. You're listening to Wildstar Reporter on the MMO Reporter Network. Brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter. And by Doghouse Systems. Choose your weapon with Doghouse Systems. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Wildstar Reporter. This is episode 10. I'm Chris, and I'm joined this week by a friend from another couple of shows on the network here, the wonderful, the pantless, although you got pants in game, Layanor. It's Layanor.
Don't talk about it. Don't talk about it.
Yeah, okay, I won't talk about it. What do you think
bad
about
luck if you talk about it.
What do you think about my new helm, huh?
I think you look like something from Mars Attacks.
I do look a little bit like something from Mars Attacks. Yep. I've got a couple of different versions of this that I can use here. Here, let me switch between the two here. I've got this one. I've got this one.
Yeah.
Right. There you go. There's that, but just not strain sort of version. But to be perfectly honest, I just prefer to stick with my no costume. Because I kind of look badass. I really do.
That's much better.
I look a lot badass. So, hey, we're here to talk about some Wildstar. We've got some news to talk about and some things that have happened in game. Biggest thing is we both hit 50. Yay!
Sure did.
Congratulations on being 50, Layanor.
Well, congratulations to you, Chris.
Thank you. It was a fun journey. Why don't you what was your experience like going from 1 to 50?
I think I did it a little bit different than everybody. There were some people that were saying just quest, it's the fastest way, and some people were saying go the PvP route. And there was also the negatives: don't do questing or don't do PvP. I ended up doing both because I wanted to experience both. And I was having some problems with a lot of quests where they just didn't really make sense to me. I was getting kind of stuck, or my gear wasn't good enough to actually go through the quests that I was trying to do, especially the ones where it was like, go out there and kill 100% of these guys, and they're all grouped up in sixes. Yeah, I was having some problems with that. So what I would do was I would go into the practice battlegrounds and just get a bunch of PvP in, get past the level of that area with PvP, and go to the next area.
Yeah.
So it was very convenient to actually have that option. And unfortunately, I think I probably have skipped over quite a few things.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of noticed that as we went through a few of the different zones that we were trying to group together in, and you didn't quite have all the taxi points.
Yeah, and I was like, where are you? Where am I?
Yeah.
How the heck do I get...
Yeah, it was fun. But we did get to group a few times together. You did beat me to 50. I think by a full couple of days. After I didn't beat you, I kind of relaxed for a couple days, and I think I hit...
no. It was 24 hours.
Oh, was it?
I got to... Actually, I got to the last bubble, or last bar.
Yeah.
And gave you the challenge to beat me within 24 hours. And you fell a little short of that, but the next day you got to 50.
Oh, okay. That's what it was. Okay, then. I don't feel so bad, then. So
no, it was pretty quick.
Okay.
I was impressed.
Okay. Yeah, it was from 30 to 50 in a few days, which is not my usual leveling speed. Yeah. But it was fun.
Mountain Dew and Hot Pockets.
All right. But what about recently? What have you been doing recently?
I came back into the game a little bit to check out the battle plots, I think they're called. The 40 on 40 or whatever they're called.
War plots.
War plots, yeah. I think I need to know somebody to get into those because somebody needs to set them up and like
Well, they're
build
guild
them with
versus
stuff.
guild, right? Is the idea of it. You can be invited in, but somebody, needs to build it because, like, a guild can go in and defeat raid bosses, and then those raid bosses are optional modules in their war plot.
Okay, yeah, I haven't gotten into any of those yet. I would like to. Other than that, I started doing some rep grinding because I found out from this plugin, a amp finder.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's the name or not. It shows you the amps that you don't have yet and the ones that you can get from a vendor or from grinding reputation or from other ways. So I went to go check that out, and I noticed that I pretty much didn't have rep anywhere. So that's what I'm working on.
Well, I would say if you want to get your Genesis key done, your raid attunement, I would work on Exile rep first. So doing your dailies, running adventures and stuff like that, that's going to be where you're going to get most of your Exile rep because you have to be beloved with Exiles as the third step. That's actually what I'm working on right now. So there's just no way to get around that time sink if you do want to get, but if you don't want to get the attunement, if you just want to PvP, then it really doesn't matter.
Right. I've seen a lot of the amps though, so I really want to start getting a lot of rep.
Yeah, cool. What else? Is that everything that's kept you busy?
That is pretty much it, yeah.
Oh, cool. As for me, I've been doing, we have a few nights a week where we're scheduled with our guild to do some runs together. And so I've been running some adventures because that's where I'm at gear-wise. I'm not geared enough for vet dungeons yet, for veteran dungeons. Still working on that. I've got a little sticky note on one of my monitors that shows the stats that I need to increase and what the soft caps and hard caps are and stuff like that, so that I know what I need to max out. I'm doing okay so far. One night, sort of got me part of the way there, and I'm working my way up. I know I don't need to hit the cap. It's not like sort of like with Rift where you had to have at least this much toughness before you could go into dungeons, or this much hit. Or you would be useless. It's more of a cap, right? So you don't need to hit the cap, but you're not going to get any more bonuses in dungeons after you hit. I forget what some of the. I can look here. If I get more, my deflect critical, for example, if I get more than 12.5% deflect critical chance, I'm capped for dungeons, so it doesn't matter. But for raids, it's 15.33. So, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, you know you're dedicated to a game when you start writing stuff down on post-it notes.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's mostly War of the Wilds and Malgrave that have popped because we've done sort of random adventures. I've run War of the Wilds a bunch, and that is the most gamed adventure. You don't just go all out to win. You go to this particular point, then you stop. You don't advance anymore. And you just hold because you want to get gold. And for whatever reason, doing it that way gets you gold more than just going all out assault. So that's different. Malgrave, excuse me. Malgrave is long. That's one where you are guiding a caravan through the desert. And you you have choices of which path you take, but it's slow going. Been doing all my dailies, and the funny thing is, the dailies for the Exiles, I never realized this, the Crimson Isle, that's the Chua starting zone. Because I made a Chua in beta, and I'm going through, and then all of a sudden, it's funny how you look at things in a certain direction. I mean, literally, physically, a direction. When you look at something from the north, and you're looking south, it looks completely different when you go the other way, right? Happens in real life, happens, a different perspective that you're looking at something from. And so I'm running around going in this particular direction, right, from north to south. And then all of a sudden, I turned around at one point and was looking north when I was trying to unlock all the map. And wow, I totally recognize it. This is where I was when I made my baby Chua in beta. And it blew my mind. And I know that I'm dumb. And I know that everybody else figured it out. But yeah. Yeah. So we talked about the attunement. I am up to the rep grind now. Got to get Beloved with the Exiles, so hopefully we'll do that. Yay! That would be good to do. And of course, we streamed this too. I did do the strain content. Did you fall? You fell. Come back around, Layanor.
Yeah, I really didn't want to see that.
Yeah, so I did all the strain content. Did most of it in one night, a little bit more. And I've been doing sort of the repeatable stuff. I got all of my path stuff done. Oh, thank you for that. I got all my path stuff done in that area, and so I'm now moving along to get my path XP and stuff like that, because I'm only, I think, level 10 on my path, which is not nowhere near far enough. And I've been crafting as well, which the dailies really help for the crafting, and the tech tree, just having, I guess, a direction, a reason to craft these things rather than just XP is really hitting it in the right way for me. It's really connecting with me to approach crafting that way. So I really, really like that. I think it's fantastic. So I don't know. You haven't really, have you tried the crafting at all?
Nope, not yet.
No. Well,
Getting there.
There you go. That is our news, or our what we've done in game for this week. So why don't we move things along to the news? The Protostar newsletter. All right, so it is time for the Protostar newsletter. First of all, of course, is that the first update patch has come out. The Strain ultradrop has been released. We talked about that. It's got tons of stuff. Oh, hello, sir. Thank you for getting in our camera shot in your golden armor. Lots of content, some repeatable stuff. Not as many daily quests as I thought there would be based on my conversation with Jeremy Gaffney. A lot of you saw that interview that came out just last week. I was hoping for more daily stuff, but I really enjoyed all that content. I thought that it was pretty fantastic. Nothing revolutionary. All the eyes around the zone, though, kind of freak me out.
There are quite a few.
Yeah, the whole walls of purple eyes. But overall, just a fairly well put together update. It's a good first update in that I think it had some familiar content. It continued the story. It gave us some more things to fight. It introduced the globulum, which I think the next thing that we're going to have to do is have a podcast from the globulum. Because the globulum is cool. Just saying globulum is cool. Globulum. Yeah. Are you really, like, bored of what I'm saying or something?
I put a chicken on your head.
I know you did. You put a chicken on my head. You're riding your mounts. Yeah.
Features.
Apparently I'm boring. But I really like the Strain Ultra Drop. You did a little bit of it before you got called away by real life. The I think 5 minutes that you managed to fit in before real life called, was that fun?
There was one fun part. There was a small story instance, I think it was, that had a challenge in it where everything was dead and skeletons, and you just ran through with your sword, and you one-shotted them all.
Oh, cool.
That was really cool. I don't know
Awesome.
what that was connected to. I just kind of accidentally clicked it. And then I ran around and died a lot.
Huh.
That was fun.
Awesome.
Because I got to see these big robots and stuff. That was really cool.
Yeah, so, overall, I think people want to check out the Strain Ultra Drop. Just go to Malgrave, keep going sort of northeast, and you'll get there. They just tore out a chunk of wall, and now you can keep going that way. The story's fun. The group stuff is killer. I mean, when the times I've done Scorchwing, it's been 70 of my closest friends and I have done it both times. This afternoon, actually, I was working on stuff, and it's one of those cooldown timers, right? So I was camping the spot, and I was in a raid, and so I was waiting, and I was coiling cables for DJing. And so I went and I coiled one cable. I turned around, I turned back, and the raid had killed Scorchwing. But thankfully, for some crazy reason, I got credit. I don't know why I got credit, but I got credit. So, hey, bonus. So I got my drop, which was crap and I couldn't use.
Oh.
Yeah.
I guess it balances out.
Yeah. And I haven't done the whole defend the area one in the sort of forest, the grove. That requires too big of a group, and just nobody has been into it when I have been wanting to. So, yeah. But some folks, I've heard minor complaints about some bug fixes that haven't made it out yet. PvP issues are still, but we'll talk about that in a minute. That's the biggest gripes that I've seen from people in the community. It was a nice appetizer, but we want more as far as that goes. That being said, only 5 guilds, 5 in the entire world, have cleared all of the raid content.
Wow.
Only 5. So this is yeah, right? It's the elite of the elites have gone through and completed that content. So this is the type of stuff that people will want. This is permanent content. This is stuff that's going to be around when my other level 50 characters hit level 50. They're going to be able to go through this content as well. So the nice thing about it, if you want to look at it this way, is you're not going to have to grind as much at level 50. You're going to be able to go through everything. And that last little bit of 49 that so many people have said is tough and grindy, and you have to, PvP or grind mobs or whatever, you're not going to have to do that.
That's true.
So I'm looking forward to going through it with you. We'll go through it at some point.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
Next story that we want to talk about here is that the public test realm is up. Players are going to be able to jump in there and test out some of the new content. I have heard today, while we were waiting for Scorchwing, the ultradrop 2 content is on there, as well as, I don't know if you heard this, but one of the things that they let slip on the Nexus report, their sort of in-house stream that they do over with Carbine, that the next instance that's coming out is Protostar themed, and it's a game show. So that that is also on the public test realm, but in its most basic, incomplete, assets missing form. So any of you jerks who are going to go on there and make comments about it sucking and not being done, you're morons. It's not done. So leave it alone. Yeah.
Happens in every game.
Right. And the coolest thing is, for those of you who want to pop onto the PTR, you get boom boxes for participating. So that's pretty cool. Because boom boxes are somewhat awesome. I still haven't gotten my mount.
It's kind of like a loot box, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like a loot box. You get something. I've received dyes, I've received some potions of renown, stuff like that. I want the frickin' mount. And I don't have the frickin' mount yet, but I want the frickin' mount.
Now, you said something about that there is a spider mount in this game, right?
No, there isn't.
No, not yet?
No, not yet. I'm sure there will be, though. Come on. Even if it's a mechano spider, that would be awesome. Yep, I want the spider from Wild Wild West. Like the size of this whole area, right? Just going around.
The fact you even said that movie's name is just wrong.
Come on, though. That mecha spider is pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. You got to admit. No, you don't have to admit.
You see that I put Cthulhu on your head?
I do. I'm scrolling in close enough so that people can't see it, but I did when I scrolled around. They saw it. So here's something colorful to go with it. Rah! That's right in the camera's face too. I wonder what happens if I go a little closer.
Yes. Okay. I would like to say that I did hear about them removing a whole bunch of bots from the game.
Oh, right. We could mention that, too. Jeremy Gaffney made a post. I think it's something like 7,500 bots have been removed from the game. Now, Harry Hall from MMO Reporter was actually an unfortunate victim of a hack. And he was he was hacked, and they instead of just making a new character and doing their crap, they deleted his character and made like a level 10 Orin of some sort. I don't know what class, but he wasn't happy when he logged on and saw that. That made him really unhappy.
I would have been pretty happy. Them rabbit chicks are hot.
Yeah, but his character is gone. Gone, I say. So that kind of sucks.
Yep.
But they have been fairly successful. I've seen less. I have still seen some, but I have seen less. So that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Want to get on to next bit that's going to be really interesting for you, because I know you're into PvP in here. Wow, that's frenetic as you move. There's some concerns right now that the community has. I think three big ones, amongst others, is, first of all, win trading. Lots of issues of win trading have been discussed. I haven't seen any of this myself, so again, I'm going to sort of talk in the conditional thoughts here that this is what people have been complaining about. When there's apparently a lot of people who will cancel arena pops and only take the ones from specific teams that they know they're trading wins with. Mm-hmm. And right now there's no negative to that. There's no negative repercussion to canceling an arena pop, like oh, your arena's ready. If you cancel that, if you don't take it, there's no negative repercussion. There's no abandonment debuff or anything like that, so people can do that. So they're looking into that. Rating tanking is the other one that I've seen, where people get up to 1800, get the gear, and then tank their rating back lower, but apparently still get to use the gear even though they're not up at the rating. And so they are easily, when you have your 1800 rating gear, you're easily twice the stats of new players coming in. So you absolutely steamroll. That's what I've seen.
Crap.
And then the fact that PvP gear, some of the PvP gear that you can get is best in slot for PvE. So you have to PvP to get best in slot parts. Not a lot of it, but there are some. I know one for Warrior and I think for Spellslinger, if I remember right. Our listeners can correct me on that. But, you know, even if it's just one piece of gear for one class, it's still wrong. There should not be a best in slot in PvP to be used in PvE. Probably not meant to be, but sort of it has turned out that it is the best in slot. So there has been an update from Carbine about all... Well, first of all, before I talk about the update from Carbine, any thoughts on that sort of stuff from your side of the things, Layanor? You've got more PvP experience than I do. Have you seen any of this?
I did see a lot of botting. There was a ton of botting in the practice rounds, practice battle arenas or whatever they were called. I can't remember what they were now. They were just going in there and win or lose, you get experience out of it. A lot of people were using the PvP as a leveling tool.
Right.
And these guys would just go on auto run forward, and then that would be it.
That's not really botting. That's just AFKing.
Well, some of this was botting as well. I mean, some of the stuff, it just seemed way too perfect. Like, it would run into the base where your Moody Mask is. It would run to the left, run to the right, and if it didn't get attacked, it would run for the Moody Mask and go for it. I mean, there's some precise stuff. Too? And I seen it with multiple people, and it just seemed like it was just a copy and pasted bot. I was like, what the heck is going on? This is the weirdest thing I've seen. So I have seen some of the botting going on, and it was very unfortunate, when, especially at the higher levels where people know how these battles work. Right. In the beginning, people really don't know how these battles work, and you just see all this silly stuff going all over the place. At the end, people are really focused, staying in groups. They're sending out teams. They're giving orders. And you'll see these 3 or 4 guys, unfortunately just walking through, walking at the wall, or you'll see these bots just go out by themselves, and it just throws the whole match, and it's just really unfortunate.
Yeah. I see any of the other stuff. I guess you're not doing really arenas, but I mean, you do get ratings if you go into the rated battlegrounds. Have you done any of those yet?
No, I have not done any of those yet.
Okay. So there is an update from Carbine that we're going to talk about here. And that didn't show up right. Let's see if I can get this fixed.
Make it show up right.
There we go. So And this is from CRB The Muffin Man. Do you know The Muffin Man?
I do not know the Muffin Man. Do you know the Muffin Man?
The one on Drury Lane?
So I hear.
Yeah. Anyways, so there's some changes that they're talking about. First of all, the scan bot. They've been having issues with the scan bots. They're going to be disabled in PvP, and it's implemented internally and being tested by QA. Win trading, they're looking at adding a system that will result in both loss in rating and a deserter debuff if you decline a rated match. They're also working with customer service to draft a plan to deal with players who participated in win trading. More on this to come. Tanking rating, they're looking at several options to do this. They're also making, and I'm not going to go into the details of it, but there's a pretty long thing here about changing the rating requirements. Basically, overall dropping the gear, the rating requirement for gear, so that you can be of a lower rating and get the gear. So,
okay.
Yeah, so all that stuff should be in ultradrop 2. That's what they're looking at least.
Okay.
That's the plan.
It's there, because the game is so new, there's going to be all kinds of loopholes and stuff that people find. So it's actually a good thing that people find these things so that they can get patched up very early in the game.
Right. Yep. So good to hear that they're working on it. Hopefully this quells the rumblings that I'm starting to hear about this. But again, this is the complaints I'm hearing. I don't know about you, but they're much quieter than what I've heard in most other games at launch. There's the usual, I want my refund, this sucks, this is stupid. I saw one of those posts today. It's really hard not to laugh at those people because they are either obvious bad trolls or really, really dumb.
Yeah, I see a lot of that when a game comes out, or like if they do a major change, like they're inviting everybody back to free to play, for free to play in different games, and there's always just a flood of people just this isn't like World of Warcraft, or it should be more like World of Warcraft, or whatever game that they're talking about, and there's always arguments about that, like, oh, why don't you go back there then if you love it so much, and blah blah blah. Wildstar, I really don't see that much. I do see it, but it's not that much at all.
Yeah, it's much less. So I'm really happy with that. I can live with that. I can live with much less. I think that everybody can. All right, we're going to move on now to the Advice Nexus, and this time we have a special guest coming on. We've got a special discussion with Jeremy Gaffney. So let's move things right over to Advice Nexus. The Advice Nexus. All right, and for our Advice Nexus portion of the podcast, I've got Jeremy Gaffney here. We're going to talk all about the Strain Ultra Drop. What the hell is the Strain Ultra Drop, Jeremy?
So the base concept is we want to take our world story and keep that moving forward. We don't want like a boring static world, month after month. So this month, it's all about the Strain, evil, nasty AI virus that the entity, one of our big bad guys, is using to try to take over the planet. And so what we've done is we seeded that area with solo content, because a lot of what we'll do in our level 50 stuff is let people solo. Those guys want to consume content. But then that lures into two-person content, tough mobs and stuff around, and then that lures into five-person content. And there's even 20-person, like big public event style things happening in parts of the zone, so that we're kind of luring you into more and more social interaction as the course of the zone goes on.
Two new zones, right?
Talked about. There's tons of stuff in this drop.
Awesome. New daily missions as well as story quests?
Yep. New daily missions. New things to get through reputation, new housing items, new mounts, new mount customizations, a cool moat where you get a nice chest burster flying out to freak out all the noobs back in the newbie zones. We're trying to add a little bit of something for everybody throughout it.
Awesome. So is this going to be permanent content, or is this sort of an event content?
What we try to do is two things. The vast bulk of it is intended to be permanent. Now, if we do a holiday drop, that kind of stuff, that will tend to be an event that, is there temporarily. But what we also want to do is have some items to thank people for, having been there for us and having subscribed or having been there for a drop. So we'll give out some items. We haven't really talked about this publicly yet, but we're going to be giving out some items as sort of a one-off to just thank people who haven't been present for the strain, so that 2 years from now you can be like, I was there for the strain drop. Here's my cool thing that was unique to being able to do that. But that's the vast minimum. Most of that is just permanent content in there for the long haul. Make sure there's a deep elder game.
Awesome. So as part of this, there is some stuff, some new items that you can get gated behind a rep grind. Why a rep grind, and what's the time frame that you see for the average player getting to Beloved?
So we're trying to make it not be like the grind where you have to stick a fork in your eye for months to be able to get stuff. But what we try to do sort of subtly as you level is give you a bunch of currencies for doing the different kinds of content. And if you're going to min-max your butt up at the top level, in general, we want to let you do most of that through the things you find the most fun. And there's rewards for having been dedicated to one kind of content. But there's also rewards for having done all kinds of content. Because left out on devices, players will find often, and your experience may show this, is that if there's something that's very boring but efficient, you will tend to do that. And so we try to do is spread it out. So the most efficient way to do things is do lots of bits of little things. So reputation is there to incent you to do this content versus all the other level 50 content. And there's a payoff for having devoted some time to this. But we don't want that to be such a devotation. You have to spend, weeks or years to grind that stuff out, because that gets boring. So it's tuned to be the kind of thing where you can get noticeable rewards very quickly. And there's some stuff you want to spend a week or two on it, then it's going to give you some, stronger rewards yet. We try not to have things that require months of effort and that sort of stuff. But weeks is reasonable, and so especially where there's fun things to do that are replayable, like the Grove of Hope, that big 20-man sort of raid-sized public event, a big tower defense of the tree. We want to encourage people to do that multiple times, and so what that means is putting in rewards you can get for having done that a bunch of times.
Awesome. So what's your new favorite item in the game with the Strain Ultra Drop?
I have to admit, I really like the new hoverboard just because it's animated and cool and creepy. Getting all that stuff that's pretty expensive. It's over 100 plat to get that and all that stuff, and so it's going to be pretty rare, I think, to see those for a bit. But as the economy kind of normalizes out over time, someday that'll be cheap. Right now, people are working pretty hard for it.
So speaking of which, as a personal favor here, do you think you might have 150 plat I can borrow?
Yeah, we have very tight ethical rules on this thing, so I think there's no way I could possibly do that unless I was bribed with alcohol in some fashion.
Well, there is PAX coming up. You never know. So this is Advice Nexus. We are looking for some advice. So what's your best tip for someone about to jump into the Strain Ultra Drop? So
my advice would be it's cool to go in solo. We know about 60-65% of people play solo. But we have an evil plot, and we try to design our content around this, where we try to make it more efficient to group up and do stuff with friends, or to take that person when you're both fighting a bunch of stuff in an area. We put those big glowing red mobs there for a reason. They're there, they're primed. They're there to lure you in and say, man, you could do half of your quest bar in one shot if you just teamed up with a buddy and took this thing out. So sure, you can go kill 10 things that are weaker around it, but the efficient way really ought to be group up and do this with a buddy. And then, guess what? Now there's that whole 5-man open area over by the nursery and all that. Now there's a bunch of 5-person content to go do, because now it just takes 2 of those smaller groups. Now all of a sudden you can do yet another group of content, more rewards, hopefully more efficient if we do our design job right. So that we're encouraging you to actually make friends and do this stuff in the open world. Kind of like old school EverQuest used to do, but they did it at level 6. For us, that's more like level 60.
Yeah.
Well, what Guild does with their public events, they did it at level 1. We do it at level 50. It's about encouraging those social interactions.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. Looking forward to getting into the Strain Ultra Drop, and thanks again for taking the time to talk to us.
Hey, my pleasure. Always good to talk to you.
The Nexus Hub. All right, so we are talking about the Nexus Hub right now, our community section about the show. What are you doing, Layanor? No.
I'm giving you a new head.
No, you are unfortunately violating my poor Granock's No,
Go on, say it.
no. just move. Feels all dirty now. Woo. Anyways, we do have our fantastic community section here. And I wanted to mention a couple of really cool things that were found on Reddit. First of all is some fan art that we found, and let me just show you here. A really, really cool, first of all, the spell slinger here. This just looks absolutely great. I absolutely love this. I mean, just the sort of intertwined spell effects there. That looks great. And that one is by, let me just look here, Reddit user Rowdowzer. I hope that got that right. And then the second one, oh no, page is not found. Oh no, Reddit page not found. It's not coming up anymore. Let's try this again.
Yeah, I got problems with the first one that we were talking
there
about.
There we go.
Unfortunately.
And so we've also got an engineer one, which I, again, absolutely love this. This is great. It's sort of very stylized. It's not anime, but it's very stylized art style. I really, really love this. And the little smiley face artillery bot there, I think is just great.
Like the last post says, super quiet.
And then the artist also redid it for Dominion, so that you would have the right colors for Dominion. So there you go. So very, very cool. I really like both of those. Send us your community finds, your favorite things that you see in the community in Wildstar, because we really, really want to see all of it. So
I really, really love creative stuff, especially this Millennium Falcon made in Wildstar.
Yeah, let's take a look here.
I like that. I didn't know you could do something like this in the game.
You
so
can. It's absolutely crazy.
I might not be doing crafting for a while.
But you have to use parts that you're repurposing here, right? This is not right. They don't just have, well, they do have sheets of metal and stuff like that, but you know, it's really for the outside especially. You have to use maybe tables or stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is really impressive.
There's the reason you don't want to beat a Wookiee is because they'll rip your arms off.
Yep, it's there.
So
the table's there. Yep.
Yeah.
The Jedi training ball's right there in the center as well.
Absolutely. Hovering. By the way, you're still violating me. You can move anytime. And there's the cockpit. Speaking of violated. So that is pretty darn cool. So go check it out. We'll have a link to that in the show notes if you like it. But again, we want to hear about all your stuff. We want to show off your awesome stuff. And the other thing we want to mention, too, for our community stuff, move your freaking mount out of my shoulder blade. Thank you.
Like it.
I do not. I do not. This is not blurred lines here. So the other thing we want to mention is we're going to be recording at different spots around the Wildstar universe, and we'd love to have you join us if you want to come hang out while we're recording, be caught on the stream here. We'll announce it over Twitter and our MMO Reporter Facebook page, so check everything out there. And you can come and join the show. The other thing we wanted to mention is, as you can see at the bottom here, we have now started a Patreon campaign, patreon.com/MMO Reporter. You can check it out there. There's some different pledge rewards that you can get if you want to support the network. We'll do things like follow you on Twitter. We've got some guest host spots, some thank yous on the show, and even some swag if you want to get some swag. So you can go check it out there. I'm really, really... not enjoying this, just so you know, Layanor.
Whee!
So
I need a bigger pet.
Yeah, sure you do. Anyways, so go check it out. We've got a couple different goals. First of all, will of course be to get rid of all the ads on the network. If we have patrons, then we don't need sponsors. So check that out, please and thank you. And the second one is to solidify our commitment to PAX and everything that we do there and all the different PAXs that take place. We'd really like to get more coverage through those. So please check it out. But until then, we do have some sponsors. First of all is Doghouse Systems. Go to doghousesystems.com and use the coupon code MMO Reporter to double your RAM. I can guarantee you my next system will be a Doghouse system because they're awesome. And of course, Audible audiobooks. Go to audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter and you can sign up for one of their plans. You can do their 1 book a month plan. And if you use the coupon, if you go to that URL, you will get your first month free and you get 1 audiobook per month with the plan and you get to keep that book forever. So you sign up, if you cancel within that first month, you get to keep that book still. So that's really, really cool. So go check those 2 places out. Doghouse Systems is awesome. I really, really recommend them. And if you want to contact us, go to our website, check out MMOReporter.com. You can go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/MMOReporter. Check out our email at wildstar@MMOReporter.com. Twitter @WildstarPodcast. Our voicemail 616-666-6778. Or you can just click the little widget on the right-hand side of the website. And of course, our YouTube page is youtube.com/MMOReporter. But don't forget our Patreon page, patreon.com/MMO Reporter. So thanks, Layanor, for joining me on the show tonight. I look forward to hearing you later and seeing what your PvP experience is like, because I know you're planning on jumping into a lot of PvP.
Oh, yeah. I'm hoping to get into that as soon as possible. I'm already level 50. I'm ready to go and get some new gear, so I can't wait.
Awesome. And by the way, hello, Anrez. Somebody in the chat room says hi, so I have to say hi, even though it's near the end of the show. So I'm going to be streaming. The other thing I want to mention, I'm going to be streaming most Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights from 9 p.m. till midnight. Wildstar stuff right now, working through attunement with my guild. Tonight's going to be a little bit late. We're having a guild meeting, but for most Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights, I'll be streaming. Check out our Twitter pages or our Facebook page for all of our updates on all that sort of stuff if you want to see where we're going. And of course, follow all that sort of stuff that I just mentioned before so you can get the update of where our next recording is going to be. And you can come and jump around in the background and be like those annoying people on Good Morning America or like Layanor.
Woo.
Yeah. Yeah. So thanks, everybody. It's been a blast. We hope that you enjoyed it. Thanks, Layanor. And thanks, everyone, for listening to the podcast. We really appreciate it. We hope that you download the podcast again next week. But most importantly, we hope to see you in game.